Hello and welcome to the Galeblade News. Labour has called for support for people arriving in the UK from Spain to quarantine for 14 days, where there is no guarantee their employers will allow them to work from home for 2 weeks. And it said the aviation industry needs a specific deal to help it recover from the impact of the COVID-19 crisis. The government has stood by its decision to remove Spain from the UK's list of safe travel destinations. Ministers are urging employers to treat quarantining staff sympathetically. The new coronavirus travel rule was announced on Saturday evening, following a spike in the number of new cases in Spain this week. It came into force less than 6 hours after it was confirmed by the government. Labour's Shadow Home Secretary Nick Thomas-Symonds said the short notice of the announcement had created a sense of panic and loss of control. He added the government should have proper contingency plans to support people coming home, where there is no guarantee their employers will allow them 14 days of work flexibility. And it is high time that a sector-specific deal for aviation is introduced as quarantine measures continue to affect the travel industry. Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab on Sunday defended the swift decision, saying he knew it would cause disruption for holiday makers, but that the government can't make apologies. Almost 1.8 million people were due to fly from the UK to Spain before the end of August, according to analysis by travel experts the PC agency. Now it is feared many passengers will abandon their plans to travel to Spain and other destinations. Speaking to Sky News' Sophie Ridge on Sunday, Mr Raab said there was an element of uncertainty for people going abroad this summer, and he could give no guarantees. Several European countries, including Germany and Belgium, have seen a rise in infections in recent days. In France, there were more than 1,100 new cases reported on Friday. Quarantine measures apply to those returning from mainland Spain, the Canary Islands and the Balearic Islands such as Mallorca and Ibiza. Returning travellers must provide an address where they will self-isolate for 14 days, and failing to do so could result in a fine. During those 2 weeks, people must not go out to work, school or public areas, or have visitors except for essential support. They should not go out to buy food if they can rely on others. People who do not self-isolate can be fined up to £1,000 in England, Wales and Northern Ireland, and those returning to Scotland could be fined £480, with fines up to £5,000 for persistent offenders. The Director General of the Confederation of British Industry, Dame Carolyn Fairburn, said the new measures would have a chilling impact on the tourism industry, and that there are lessons to be learned. Anyone going abroad now will know that this can happen, she told BBC Radio 4's Westminster Hour programme. It was in the small print, but I'm not sure that people knew that the advice could change so quickly. I do think that there is a real consideration around the tourism industry itself. However, she said the government had made the right decision, given the rising infection levels. Her comments come after airlines, including British Airways, criticised the new measures as yet another blow to British holidaymakers. And the Airport Operators Association said the new measures would further damage what is already a fragile restart of the aviation sector, which continues to face the biggest challenge in its history. Meanwhile, the changes have left travellers frustrated, with some saying they would not have travelled if they knew they would have to spend a fortnight self-isolating afterwards. Self-employed roofer Malcolm Benbridge spoke of his frustration at having to quarantine for 2 weeks following his 1-week holiday in Spain, because he needs to go back to work. Speaking before his flight home to Birmingham from Almeria on Sunday, Mr Benbridge said he was hoping to employ someone to do the work he had scheduled, but was frustrated at the money he would lose because of the need to self-isolate. It is bad timing because people travel this time of year with kids as schools break up, he said. And Thomas Wright, 27, a carpenter from North London, who was returning from a business trip to Barcelona, said the quarantine rule change would affect him quite badly, as he would be unable to work. I suppose, to be honest with you, I should have left travelling to a later date, he added. He had found the last lockdown hard to deal with. So what should you do if you're already in Spain? You should continue your holiday, follow the local rules, return home as planned, and regularly check the Foreign Office travel advice, the government says. What about if I have a trip to Spain booked? You need to contact your travel provider, as some holiday operators like TUI have cancelled trips to mainland Spain. The FCO is advising against all non-essential travel to mainland Spain, but that does not include the Canary Islands and the Balearic Islands such as Majorca and Ibiza. However, anyone arriving from any part of Spain, including its islands, must quarantine. And what will happen with travel insurance? For people already in Spain, the Association of British Insurers, and it is said it's likely insurance will stay in place until they return home. Otherwise, those travelling now against FCO advice will invalidate their insurance. If in doubt, they should check with their insurer. On Thursday, Spain recorded 971 new infections, the biggest daily increase since Spain's lockdown ended, and 922 on Friday. But on Sunday, the country's foreign minister insisted it was safe to visit, saying the outbreaks in Spain are perfectly controlled. Foreign Office guidance advising against all but essential travel to mainland Spain does not include the islands, but ministers opted to apply blanket quarantine arrangements across the Spanish territories. So, what do you think of this? Are you one of those people who is currently in Spain? Are you coming back to the UK? And what do you think of the quarantine? From my personal experience, my concern is how many people are actually going to obey that legislation and these rules. There will be quite a few selfish people who will just go out anyway. And I've been personally very good with the virus. I've kind of stayed inside unless I've needed to for my exercise or to get supplies. Other than that, I've not gone outside. So I think these people need to give their head a shake and actually learn that they need to respect what the virus can do to some people. Whatever you think, leave your comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe.